him and I, again, like him and I are on good terms, but we recognized like a long time ago that
Good terms, guys. Hey, welcome to Unpack Diaries, a journey from A to B. A for Anna and B for Barbara. Besties from the Philippines, now living in two different parts of the world.
this is where we unpack life abroad. The real, the raw, and everything in between. It's just like writing on the pages of our diary, but on a mic.
So grab a drink, get comfy, and let's start unpacking. All right.
Yo!
Okay, so this is happening. We're doing this. This is
Literally, our first attempt at recording any sort of podcast thing. So let's see how it goes.
Let's see how it goes, and it's gonna be fun. You know what? I think I was telling you this a while ago. I was quite nervous because we're both overthinkers. I mean, if there's anything people should know about us first and foremost, it's that we're massive overthinkers, and I'm sure we're not alone. We are such perfectionists that when we do something, even like writing something on paper, like we want to make it so perfect.
Yep.
And
If you see
so
my notes
stupid.
from school.
Yeah. Remember? Oh my gosh. Just a side note, but remember when we were, I don't know if you did this, but I always wrote in between like the two lines on the notebook. Like
So there'd be space, and it's not like
I never wrote on the line itself. I don't know if you.
I think I
don't know if
went
you
through a
ever did that.
phase of doing that, probably in like grade school or something. And then I don't know, like my thing would change every quarter, and suddenly my penmanship would be different and whatever. But it always had to look like anywhere. So we're still
Mine talaga, as in between. Like that's if ever I ever hit a line, dude, I rip out the whole
you have
page.
to repeat the
Like,
whole thing. Oh my gosh!
What? As in sobrang.
Wait, what is that?
anyway,
Is
but
that
yeah.
just perfectionism or like?
I
have no
know.
idea.
Is it OCD?
Yeah.
I don't even know. But
Yep.
but that's like there are things that I'm not always a perfectionist, but like there are things, especially when I want to do something, like that's kind of like
Yes.
that's where I want it to be perfect or something. But okay, sorry, we got sidetracked already. Just
Already?
starting.
No. Like, I have a feeling the entire conversation is going to be like that. Like, just so many tangents, so many. Anyway, side
so
notes.
crazy. For sure. No, but like,
But-
so okay, why are we doing this? Honestly, so Barbara and I are like, we talk every now and then over like video call, and we realize that we actually have a lot of insights when we talk, and we're like, why not just put it on a podcast, and maybe somebody can relate, or maybe somebody can understand, and you know, like, so we're like, you know what, let's just give it a shot, you know, whatever. And you know, if people can relate, and if we could help, I guess, one person out, I think we've done our job in a sense.
If we
So
can-
it's
Like, at
pretty
least one
exciting.
person that maybe wouldn't feel as alone in whatever journey they're going through right now. Oh, which, like, leads me to circle back. I mean, the fact that we've both moved to different countries, and I guess we've grown in so many ways since then. Not necessarily because we
exactly.
moved to other countries, partially yes, but also just like, I don't know, everything we've been through in the last, I don't know, we've been friends for more than 2 decades. So
25
we've seen
years.
each other through, holy shit.
So
Oops.
just so everybody
Can we cuss
knows,
on this?
this is
Or
yeah, we
anyway.
can cuss. We can cuss. We will cuss because it's just
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
unnatural if we don't. But so just some background on ourselves too. We've been best friends for 25 years. Literally, this is our diamond anniversary this year. 2025 is our diamond anniversary. And
25 years is
we've-
diamond? Wow, okay.
I think so. Or am I wrong? Oh my gosh, I might be wrong, but I think it is diamond. Anyway, I'm gonna check that out later. But yeah, we've been friends for so long. We've seen each other in different phases of our lives. Literally different phases.
Like we wouldn't recognize, oh my gosh, like how
No.
we used to be back in, anyway.
No.
My
and
mind's
like
like,
more I think the more we do these episodes, the more we people will kind of see kind of how we were to how we are now, because we're going to be telling them more of our stories and how everything happened and how we even became friends. How did we even become friends, honestly? But that's for another another episode, I think. But like,
Yep.
I don't even remember. It's been so long that I'm just like, how the how did we become friends? But yeah, it's gonna be exciting. Um, yeah, so it's just a podcast really of just we just want to share to you guys
Yeah.
how
Like
our life is abroad.
we're not coming from this position of being like, oh, we know everything.
We
We're
know.
gurus about X, Y, Z. It's just more of like, again, we want this to be sort of like how our catch up calls usually are. And then, so it's, a bunch of like just catching up on life. And then suddenly there's some insight mixed here and there. So, hopefully,
Yeah.
just maybe there's someone out there who's listening who can sort of relate or maybe would hear that whatever they're going through is sort of, I mean, they're not alone in whatever they're going through right now, sort of
Exactly.
thing. And then they just feel less alone in their current journeys. And yeah.
It's not
So,
easy.
well,
That's the thing. Like people have this misconception that if you move to somewhere else, like, oh, you have an amazing life, blah blah blah. Everybody has that misconception. And don't get me wrong, for
especially
sure,
coming
like
from,
opportunity. Yeah.
yeah,
So
where we come from.
again, we didn't even say it. We came from the Philippines, so we're
Yeah.
two Filipinas in a sense that decided to just pack up and go, I guess, if that's the right phrase. But people always say that, oh, you have it easy, you're there. People don't understand. Few years for me have been insane, to say the least. Like, insane.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And we're not even just talking about the admin, like all the admin that goes into moving to another country, but just
Yeah.
life after actually getting to that next country
Yeah.
and, trying to
Yeah.
adjust, trying to like not necessarily fit in, but just to make a home for
Yeah.
yourself in that country.
Yeah.
So I guess that's what we want to be talking about today, like, what it means to build a home away from home, whether
Yep.
that's like physically, I don't know, emotionally, even spiritually. And yeah, hopefully you guys listening get to know a bit more about Anna and I in the process. Again,
And
our
honestly,
journeys and
this is so collaborative that if somebody, and I'm going to say this off the bat, I'm totally open to hearing stories from other people. So,
I'd love
if you
that.
want to, if you want to message us on Instagram, you want to email us, like, go ahead. Like, our email is unpackdiariespodcast@gmail.com.
At
So, like,
Gmail.
if you guys want to just write your story and you know what, honestly, if you just want to vent out and, let us know if
Oh
we
yeah.
could air it out or not, whatever, we're
Hey,
totally
that would
for
be
it
fun. I
because,
like that.
yeah, diba? I think every person deserves like somewhere to vent out to, I think. So,
A
if you
little
don't want us to air it and
community
you just want
that
to vent out to us, it's okay too. It's not a big deal. But, just message us on Instagram, wherever, whatever social media. I think we're on everything. So yeah, I mean, that's really what it is. It's just a time for us to also unpack. Actually,
unpack.
that's kind of why we're doing this whole thing. So okay, so Babs. Sorry, I'm so used to calling you Babs, so I might be calling you Babs.
Oh
in and
yeah,
out.
yeah.
So, I guess we should just start on. Well, I'll ask you, like, what was your kind of, when did you decide that we're both from Manila, right? We have different lives. We actually went to different universities. So
Yes.
it's
Same middle school,
so
same high school, different unis.
different
Yeah.
university. That's kind of where that was the only time we actually went apart. Like,
Yeah, we
stayed
didn't
apart from
really
each other. But
hang
not really,
out.
because we were
Completely
still
different
hanging out.
lifestyles.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So, when was it for you? When did you decide that, okay, I'm leaving the Philippines? Like, what you don't have to, obviously not you don't have to give me the exact date, but
yeah.
when was it for you?
It's interesting because for me, it wasn't like, at least for the current country that we're in, which, okay, side tangent again. So so you're in the US, I'm currently in the UK. So prior to even moving here for the both of us, we weren't even in Manila. We were living
No.
abroad already. You were
Yeah.
in Canada, I was in Bali in Indonesia. So for me, deciding to move here in particular, it wasn't like this one epiphany moment where I was like, oh shit, I should just, something is pulling me to go. It was like this slow build up of like really marinating in that decision for about, I don't know, maybe a year and a half. So again, I was
Okay.
already living in Bali at that time for about a year
Which
with
was amazing,
my
by the
daughter and my
way. Side
ex.
note.
Yeah, some days I still miss that lifestyle, but yeah. So about a year-ish into living in Bali. Okay, guys, I'm not gonna go too deep into this, like deep and dark, because okay, I mentioned my ex, my daughter's dad, but him and I are like we're really good. We're on really good terms. So this isn't gonna be
Disclaimer in
some like
case he
dark
actually
ass.
listens to
Yeah,
this.
it's true though. It's true though.
Shout out.
So but yeah, so about a year into living in Bali, we decided to separate and ultimately divorce. And so we were considering, well, firstly, I loved my life in Bali. It felt like home at that time. But also, we were thinking for our daughter, it would be like a smoother transition of sorts. Like it wouldn't be as, abrupt for her if we stayed in the same country or area, like during that initial like adjustment period for her.
Yeah.
And he was going to be living still in Bali. And
Yeah.
now, so yeah, the decision was stay there for a year, just so we're in the same place. It's not going to be too abrupt for a daughter. And then, but throughout that entire year, there was this point after we divorced that I was like, oh shit, for the first time in, I guess, a decade, I actually had full, I guess, like sovereignty over, my decisions in terms of what kind of lifestyle I wanted to live. Like,
Did you think
because of course, when
did you
you're with a
think
partner,
that
right?
yeah, sorry to cut you just in the middle of it. Do
Yeah.
you think that the divorce was kind of like actual freedom that was parang that was your time to like okay, it's really time to open up another chapter. Like was that was your oh, this is really it, or it was just parang a process along the way, or was
It
it
was
your
probably just an entire process along the way. So again, like, yeah, despite the fact, okay, so like him and I, again, like him and I are on good terms, but we'd recognized like a long time ago that
good terms,
just
guys.
good terms that our values and like the kind of lifestyle we wanted was just so different from
Yeah,
each other. So when we finally separated, it was like, oh my God, now I can actually like go
do
after
stuff.
or
Right.
just make that decision for myself without having to consider another adult. Because of course, when you're in a relationship, it's like, of course, you have to consider, the other person's preferences. It's a compromise, so on
Right.
and so forth, right? So,
Right. Right.
so yeah, halfway through that second year of living in Bali, it was like, oh my gosh, I can now pretty much move to wherever I want to move. And back when I was in university, I always thought that after school I'd end up in Europe. I thought Austria in particular because that's where I've been going since I was a kid, so I feel a bit more at home there. But then, where am I in the story? Basically, UK became an option because, well, paperwork wise, it's easier because my daughter
Easier,
is
yeah.
also
She's
British.
Brit.
And
Yeah.
yeah, if we were to move to Austria, there would have been this whole language barrier for her. She'd have to like learn German,
Learn.
so on and so forth, which isn't a big deal. But again, I wanted to make it a bit smoother for her transition wise.
Yeah.
And yeah, a bunch of other factors. And yeah, there was just this one day that I was like, I guess, if we were to move, UK would be the best option at this point. And I just went for it. So yeah.
And just jump the gun. That's kind of
Yeah, yeah.
that's kind of I think on my end that's kind of what happened as well. Well, okay, no. We all know.
I
Well,
guess,
we don't all know, but I I went through a pretty crazy. How would I say it?
Wait,
Because I'm
sorry,
trying
sorry to
to.
cut you off as well, but like both of us, there was like this breakup prior
I
to
know.
moving sort of
I.
situation.
It was It was a crazy one. It was. I'm not even gonna go into detail on that, but anyway, just long
Not
story
yet.
short, it was quite traumatic. That experience, but I think it wasn't really that made me decide to go. I've always like you. I've always wanted to go and see if the grass is greener on the other side. I've always thought about that, and I've always discussed it with my parents, even prior, like
Okay,
years
yeah.
back. Years back, I was actually going. I was supposed to go to uni in Canada, like
Oh
right
yeah.
after high school, but I decided to stay for stupid reasons. God, sometimes I look at my life choices and I'm just like, you're so dumb. But anyway, whatever. It is what it is. I decided to stay and just continued life in the Philippines. And then so after that, you know, fast forward after that the traumatic experience that I did, and people closest to me know this. I went to Siargao. Siargao is a
Oh
an
yeah.
island in the Philippines, and it's kind of like Bali, but in the Philippines, and it's a whole. Let's just say I
It's a
had an
surf
eat, pray, love
yeah.
moment, like, massive eat, pray, love moment. I stayed there for almost a month, and I lived there for almost a month. And honestly, the people there, the people I've met there, and some of them are still my friends, and I talk to them, catch up with them once in a while, and but I would really, I could say that Siargao was my, I guess, not epiphany, but it was where I really
There was
turned.
some sort of
Because,
catalyst theme-a-bob going on
yeah,
there. Yeah, yeah.
I, in a sense, I'll never forget this. And I like to share this to people because I know everybody has their own version of like epiphany and understanding and all that stuff. But mine was, I'll never forget this. I was in Siargao. I was in this like I think it's called a restaurant or restaurant and inn. I think it's just a restaurant. But anyway, I was in the restaurant. I was in White Banana. It's called White Banana. I'll never forget this. I was alone. I went to Siargao alone, by the way. No friends. Didn't know anybody. I just wanted to have time for myself and reflect because I came from something pretty traumatic. Actually, not just pretty traumatic, quite traumatic for
Quite.
anybody. So I was in White Banana. I was sitting at the edge by the beach and I was looking over the ocean. I was sitting on a beanbag. I'll never forget this because this is honestly where my life changed.
Sounds like such a visceral moment. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because I can tell you the detail because
Yeah.
it's really something that I will never forget. I think even if I'm 96 years old, like that, I'll forget everything but that moment because that's really where I decided to change and like there was just like a massive change during that time. So anyway, so I was at White Banana. I was sitting at the edge of by the sand. I was drinking. I don't know what I was drinking. I was drinking something, but I was drinking, and I was sitting by the beanbag, and there was like palm trees in front of me, and I was just looking at. It was like pitch dark because I was at the end by the shore, so I just saw like it was just quiet and peaceful, and I was looking at all the stars, and it was just beautiful.
Oh my God,
It
you
was
told me about
so,
this. Yeah.
yeah, I like it was so beautiful. And I just, at that moment, I was just like, I have to move forward. I always say this, and I think you
Oh, I
guys will
love
hear it.
that.
You guys are gonna hear me say this often in our future episodes or whatever, but sometimes you don't really move on from things, you just move forward. So like, for like, okay, just an aside story, but like when my grandma passed like a few like decade ago, when she passed and I was really close to her, blah blah blah, like I don't think I've ever really moved on from it because she was like my mom. I was closer to her than my mom. Well, now my mom and
Right.
I are like
Yeah.
besties, but I always say this, like sometimes there are instances that you don't really move on from, but you move forward. Meaning it doesn't hurt you anymore, but it's always going to be
Oh
engraved like
yeah.
how
Yeah.
hurt you are or what you went through in life, like it's kind of just part of it. but you just have to make the conscious effort to just move forward, because life won't stop for you. The time will not stop ticking. So you just have to keep going. And it's not easy for
Yeah.
some people. And I'm sure, everybody has their own experiences. But for me, it was that moment in Siargao. And I was just like, I have to get up and go. I just have to go. So after that trip, I went back home. And by the way, honestly, Babs, I met the best people in Siargao.
I remember you telling me about, oh my gosh, yeah, tell me
There's
about
just
that
so
trip.
much I honestly think I've met soulmates in Siargao, and not romantic,
Oh
not
yeah.
romantic soulmates,
No,
but
no. Mm-hmm,
but I met soulmates that I don't know, I needed them at the time I
Oh,
met
for
them.
sure. Yeah.
100%. And they showed me their side of their life, and I just learned so much about them. And I'm telling you, I could go on and on about Siargao, and everybody who knows me knows this, because they know how much I love that moment in my
Hey, that
life.
could be another episode. Like
That is a
stuff
whole
we
nother,
learned from all these people we've met.
exactly.
Yeah, on our
So
travels.
anyway, so after that I came back home, and I just realized I just wanted to go. So I
Did
decided
you tell your
to go.
parents already at
I
that
did.
time?
I
Or
did.
like,
I
okay.
actually,
How did
we've
they
been
react to that?
talking about it in and out. I think we've been talking about it on and off about it. Um, they were all for it, because they've always wanted me to go. They've always wanted me to leave.
Okay.
Maybe they don't want me in their house anymore, but no, they've always wanted me to leave. Oh wait, to be fair, I wasn't living at home, but they
True.
they probably just thought that, me try. I think
It would do
among
you some good in
yeah
a way,
among
which
all
is
our
very
siblings,
different
I
from,
think.
oh, sorry, but like very
No,
different
go
from
ahead. Go
like
ahead.
the typical Filipino family, I guess.
That wants to keep you together.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the fact that your parents were like, yeah, go fly and do something like
Yeah.
possibly for your
So
growth is, yeah.
I think it was also because I was probably I think my parents thought that I was their most risk taker. So if anybody would try this, it would have been me.
Plus
So
you're the
that
youngest,
was
so
I'm the
all
youngest.
the
Right.
paranoia was already
Right.
like, I don't know.
Like done. Like
Yeah,
screw
yeah.
her. Let her live. Let her make mistakes, and let her go throw herself in the ditch. So but so that's kind of, so I decided to go to Canada first. I went to uni there. And the rest was history. I was talking to my obviously now husband. And it kind of it just started from there. I was in Canada. My husband is from the US, but I started in Canada, like the same with you in Bali. So, and then, pandemic happened and all that stuff. And
Oh
I
my
actually
gosh,
got
yeah.
stuck in
While
Canada.
you were
I think I
alone
told you.
in,
I was alone.
no, I
So,
remember like you were in this small dorm, like uni dorm during the
dude.
first like how many months of lockdown and whew.
okay, so
Yeah.
we're going into that, right? Okay, so I just came from a very traumatic experience, and I had an epiphany and decided to go. And I was like, "Ah, life is going great. We're good. We've moved forward. La 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 la." And then the pandemic hit. Okay. So, first off, I was we all know the Philippines is a tropical country. We surf, we go to the beach.
Oh my God, Canadian winters. Wait, which part of Canada
I
were you in again?
literally I was in Toronto.
Oh
I
no. Yeah.
literally jumped from I came from, for the people who don't know, we have different areas in the Philippines, like that you could surf or just go to the beach. So I right before I flew, I was in La Union. And we were surfing, and it was like awesome weather, blah 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 blah. And I a few days after, I jumped to Canadian winter. I was there in
Which is
December.
like what do they reach? Is it Celsius or Fahrenheit in Canada?
In Canada, it's Celsius. It's only the US.
So that was like what, negative
I swear,
minus
their
40 or
metrics are
something?
weird. I don't even know. So
It was
like,
just
so
something extreme. Yeah.
it was so it was minus. The worst one for me was -19. I was going to
Okay,
work and
okay.
it was minus 19, and it was negative 19. It was crazy. I Anyway, so jumping from that to cold weather, and
Mm-hmm.
obviously I've seen snow, but like not like this, not living in it. I visited Lake Tahoe, but that was like for a few days and went back to the warmth. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
so it was so different. And then the pandemic hit. So it
Oh, I remember doing
so
like video calls with
everybody,
you back
yeah,
then.
you
Yeah.
saw me. I
Oh,
was so,
mm-hmm.
I think that was probably one of my lowest times. Actually, I would say the lowest, actually.
Understandably. Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was so all my roommates left. Obviously, they went home. Obviously, right? When everybody was nobody could leave the house. It was all on a strict mandate, blah blah blah, all that stuff.
But it
And
was
I didn't
just
know
you
anybody.
there. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know
Mm-hmm.
anybody. I did have family there, but my cousin's wife, she was recovering, or she recovered from, she's like a cancer survivor. So there was
Okay.
no way I was going to risk like bringing, because I was still out, right? Then going to
Mm-hmm.
university.
Mm-hmm.
There was no way I was going to bring that. Like, what if I had the virus? And, I just don't, I don't, so I didn't go to them because I was so worried that I, might
Yeah.
bring it
Yeah.
back or whatever. Anyway, so I was literally alone. I tried to fly here to the US so I could at least be with my, well, boyfriend then, not yet
Mm-hmm.
husband, but uh to fly here, but I actually got denied in the airport. They didn't allow me to fly.
Oh yeah, I was trying to recall like I remember something got delayed, but I forgot that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually no, I got like I was at immigration, then they said sorry, we can't let you go because everything's on lockdown. So I
Oh
was
my
literally at the
gosh.
airport crying to the
Mm-hmm.
immigration person, and I'm like, I don't have family here. Like, I need to go to
Right, right.
somebody. I can't be alone for 3 months in like literally a box, because
Mm-hmm.
I was residing in the university
Well, the
dorms. Not
dorms,
It wasn't
yeah.
dorms, it's
Literally a
apartments. Not really dorms, but like apartments.
student
But yeah, so I was
housing,
there.
living
Yeah,
apartment
student
thing. Yeah,
housing.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I was literally, I they stopped me at immigration, so I had to go
Oh
back. I
my
was
gosh.
crying, and I had the sweetest Uber driver taking me back to my apartment, and
Mm-hmm.
I was crying all the way, and the guy was so sweet. He's like, he was trying to give me like life lessons. It's okay, like things happen for a reason, blah blah
Oh
blah.
man.
And I was like,
Yeah.
it felt nice because he was trying to comfort me, because obviously it was a tough time for not just us. It was tough for everybody, and I'm sure
Everyone. Mm-hmm.
a lot of people also lost a lot of their families and friends along the way because of the virus. And of course, I was upset because I was going to be alone, but I was thinking, you know what? It could have been worse. So at least I have a roof on my head, and, I can buy food, and
Oh my God,
I'm good.
that's our mindset nowadays with everything,
Seriously.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I was, for any, and I know a lot of people can probably relate to this, is that it was a really, really rough time. I think that was the lowest I've ever been. And I was so depressed, and I don't like saying this, but I actually had suicidal thoughts because I was
Mm-hmm.
just so,
No, yeah, I remember you telling me
I
about
was,
those. Yeah.
I didn't know what to do. I was so
Mm-hmm.
depressed. It was so bad that I was having panic attacks at 4 a.m. I was fast asleep, and I just wake up, and I'm like,
You'd wake up.
and I couldn't breathe, and I
Mm-hmm.
start crying and crying and crying because like I was alone. And you know what they said, right? They said it was just gonna be 2 weeks. Girl,
Mm-hmm.
it was like what, 3 months? 4 months.
Yeah. Well, in the
It
Philippines, my
was
God, like the
it
whole
was
thing lasted
yeah.
for like a year
They really
or
took it to the
more.
extreme, the Philippines.
Ridiculous.
It was
But
crazy.
what was it like? How long was it before you were able to? Oh, was it like the minute you could leave, then you flew to the US, sort of thing, and just
Not not really. I kind of waited, yes, but
Mhm.
I also kind of just took my chance, and I just explained to the immigration officer that I literally have nobody, and the family I have is in the US, and
right? Yeah.
there was another option to go back to the Philippines. I actually called my mom. I was on a call with my mom, and I said that should I just go home? And because I was like crying to her, like I was so depressed and I was so sad. And and then she told me, like, you could come home anytime you want, like it's up to you. Uh, and she was actually willing to like get me and take me back,
Yeah.
But I just said, I'm already here, and I worked, I was working so hard to get here, so I just had to like power through. It wasn't easy, but I had to just power through. But yeah, I mean, I eventually I actually just took the chance. It wasn't fully cleared yet to fly, but I just took the chance. And in my mindset was, you know what, if they reject me again, it is what it is. Then I'll just stay,
Yeah.
whatever. But I was like, at least I have to
But
try.
there was that
So,
chance that you could, that it let you
and
through. And
it's so funny because I I went on my birthday. I went on my birthday, not even on purpose, just by chance that
yeah,
I booked a
that
flight
was the
on my
timing.
birthday. That was the timing, and I was at the immigration, and they, I guess he saw it was my birthday, so he's like, "Oh, happy birthday, blah blah blah." And he's like, "Why are you gonna go? It's the pandemic, blah blah." And I explained that I don't have family. I mean, I didn't explain in detail, but I just said my
Yeah.
family's in the U.S. and I would rather stay in the US. I was not comfortable flying to the Philippines either, because that would be like a 16-hour flight inside the plane, and you don't know who has the virus or what, right? So I was also paranoid to fly that long. So I explained that to him, and he was so gracious and he was so nice. He didn't even give me a hard time, because he, obviously I think he understood he saw my genuinity, that I
Yeah.
wasn't lying. Like, I'm like, please, like, just let me go see my family, well, my boyfriend and all that. So and then I was able to go through, and what's so funny, when I landed it in the US, it was a quick flight. It was like, what, an hour flight. Uh
Yeah.
there was like a rainbow that welcomed me when I got to the US.
Oh, oh, that's
I actually have a
cute.
photo of that somewhere, and it was crazy. So that's kind of where the US life started. I'm in the East Coast,
And
by the way, for
basically,
not that anybody
you've been
cares, but
there ever since, right? It was
yeah,
just like that move during the lockdown
yeah.
sort of thing. Like, okay. Yeah.
We
Oh my
just
gosh,
we
I
just
can't believe because you've
decided
been there
to
for like 5 years now?
six
Or
six years now.
what on earth?
I know,
That's
I know.
that's so weird to me that you've been there that long.
It's
Yeah.
crazy. But so when you did Bali and then you did the UK, like, how did your family react? Like, how?
Well, moving to Bali was like it wasn't a big deal at all. Firstly, it's 4 hours away from the Philippines. So, it's still within
Yeah,
Southeast Asia, all that. Second, I was moving with my family. So it wasn't a big deal to my other relatives that, oh,
yeah,
she's moving to another country sort of thing. Excuse me. And but it was more of the UK one. Well, firstly, after the divorce, when they were like, okay, what's your plan now? Like, are you going to be alone, so on and so forth? And I was like, no, we're staying here. Just seeing how things go for the next year. We're not going to move anywhere, so on and so forth. But when I decided to move to the UK, it wasn't that I wasn't really met with any resistance because my family knows that I'm just going to do what I want to do, sort of thing. I'm that kind
that's
of
kind of us.
person. Yeah. And that's true. That's why we're friends. I think that's why we've managed to stay friends this
I
long.
don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but anyway.
Well, pros and cons, I guess. But yeah, I think yeah, so not really any resistance from them, but they more what was it? They just asked me a lot of questions about like I guess logistical details and also they presented me with all these different alternative scenarios not to deter me, but I guess it was more for their own peace of mind
Right.
that they could see like okay at least she
Like,
kind of
you're
knows what
okay.
she's doing, she
Yeah.
kind of has a plan because also
Yeah.
I'm very spontaneous, like I often I okay, I'd consider myself to still be a bit semi-nomadic. I wouldn't say I've actually settled down here in the UK because I mean wherever life takes me I'm pretty open to it still at this point, and we don't have a permanent home yet. That's another story for another time, but whoa, where was I going with this? Yeah, it's more
Like,
of
how your
like
family was, like, with you moving, like, how did you said they just wanted you to be They just wanted
Oh
to make
yeah,
sure
that
you're
that whole
okay.
peace of
Yeah.
mind thing for themselves. Yeah,
Yeah.
just so yeah, they sort of so they'd feel that they actually that I had a semblance of a plan. And after I was just like, okay, well, I guess they were half excited for me, half nervous, especially because it was just me and my daughter
Right. Right.
moving
It was
to a.
scary. Like
Oh,
when
I
you
was
told
gonna
me that you were
say,
gonna
yeah, I
do
was gonna ask
that,
you,
I'm like,
like, how did you feel when I told you? Because I
I
remember
was
how I felt when you told me you were moving, but like,
so for me, I knew you could. I wasn't worried of what you were like if you could survive. I wasn't worried about that.
yeah,
It was just more of just kind of a safety thing. Like it's because it's just you
yeah,
and your daughter,
physical
so it
safety
was
more so than
more physical
mental.
safe. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because we would still always check up on each other with all like our life experiences and all that stuff, which is there's a lot to unpack, honestly. But yeah, that was
Hence
my
the name of
worry.
the
How did you
podcast.
feel when I told you like,
I
hey,
was
I'm
so flipping
going?
excited. Do you remember? Like I was really
Yeah,
like,
okay, yeah,
you
no, no, I
gotta do
remember.
it, girl, you gotta do it. I was
I
so
remember you were like one
excited.
of my first cheerleaders. You actually were like, this is such a you're like this is a new season for you. This is a new season of your life.
Yeah.
It's so exciting. Blah blah
Yeah.
blah. And I was
Oh
actually
my gosh, my
scared
heart's
because
actually like I don't know, beating faster now because I remember still like the excitement in that moment when I was like, "Oh shoot, she's
yeah.
actually gonna do it." Yeah, because I
Because you
I
know me, right? I'm so scared. Because again, we are perfectionists and we overthink things. So I was actually scared, but I knew I had to do it. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how
yeah,
I
and for
kind of
me it's
envision it.
like I love learning new things, going through new experiences. I'm the type of person who likes do they call it like type 2 fun? You know how like in the moment it feels like crap? You're like, God, why the
Oh,
F am I doing this? But afterwards, you're like, yeah, yeah, I'm glad I did that. So I'm the type of person
yeah,
who
yeah,
likes type 2 fun. And I,
yeah.
I mean, just, I know for a fact, like, the amount of growth and wisdom you can get from those kinds
There,
of experiences. So I was like, oh shit, I know it's going to be like a big adjustment period for Anna, but I was so excited for like how you'd come out on the other side, sort of thing.
yeah, yeah.
So
It
yeah,
was.
that's it. I was just so excited.
I knew it was gonna be challenging. I definitely knew
Mm,
that. I knew it was gonna be challenging, but at the same time, I just knew it was time for a
mm-hmm,
change. It was time
mm-hmm.
for, it was time for a new beginning, I guess. I would say I became a little toxic when I was still back home. I mean, in Manila. I had a quite a toxic lifestyle. I don't say toxic, just a little over the top, I think. Toxic is different. I don't think it was super toxic, but it
Mm-hmm.
was definitely
There
a
wasn't as much
little.
wisdom or maturity
Yeah,
as
like I felt like I was stuck. Yeah, I wasn't growing. I was just where I
okay.
was, it was what it was. Like, oh, okay, this is life. Great. Like,
Filipino term for that would be like campante, which I guess in English is
yeah,
like oh my gosh,
complacent.
complacent. Yeah.
Complacent. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I just felt kind of, we both had a pretty comfortable life back in the Philippines, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
never going to take now what I know now, I will never take that for granted ever again because it's really crazy like how life is so different, which is again for another episode, but
Mm-hmm.
that really is my realization that we never well I knew we came from a comfortable life, but I never really saw to what extent until I moved.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I think that was what it was because we lived in a bubble. We lived that way since we were born. So
Mm-hmm.
we didn't really think of it as something different. We just thought
That
that
was the
oh, this
norm,
is
sort
life.
of.
That's the norm,
Yeah.
which is
Mm-hmm.
it's just it's a little weird. It's a little weird looking at me before and looking at me now. It's like, yeah. Just it was just like a really different like
That's why I
react.
was super excited for you, like
Yeah.
moving abroad because I know what that does to people. I'm not saying there was anything wrong with how we were before moving, but it
Yeah.
was just like if there's an opportunity to experience new things and grow from those experiences, for me it's like, yeah, heck yeah, let's do it. Sort of thing.
Exactly.
So yeah.
So that's kind of I would say, how would you say, since we're talking about the before, before the jump and all that stuff, how would you say you were back in the Philippines? Like personality wise, like in general,
Um
like how do you think you were? Because I saw a massive shift on my end. I don't even recognize who I was 8 years ago. I think that I'm a completely different person from who I was 8 years
I
ago.
would agree. I would agree. But like because mine's not that straightforward actually, because it wasn't just the move that really sparked a change in me. It was more of it was everything, like even oh my gosh. I okay, like if we were to like not say that the move was the main factor in this, just how I was before is oh no. This is actually really hard to answer because there's like so many dimensions to it. But it's just that me now, I am more sure of who I am as a person
Right.
because I went through so many phases growing up, and it was kind of like, who am I really? And if I leaned more towards, let's say, one interest, one personality, one phase, or like stereotype, archetype, whatever you want to call it, after a while, it didn't feel so genuine because I was like,
Right.
I can relate to this, but I can't fully relate to this, and it doesn't fully feel like me.
Right.
But now that I've experienced all these different things, I realized that I don't have to like just fit into one of these archetypes of myself, but I can integrate all of them and they're all me. You know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah.
just
Just different versions of you, basically.
yeah, and if I just
Yeah.
stayed in I don't know where I'm trying to like get with saying this because again like it's mine's not so straightforward, but compared to how I was in the Philippines, if I just stayed there being in that bubble, I wouldn't have had as much space to explore and integrate those different parts of myself. And I guess I would have been a lot more limited in terms of mindset and things like
Right.
that. And maybe for another episode and but we know how some like the mentality can be sometimes in the circles that we grew up in
Yes.
Manila.
Yes. 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 Yes.
So
Yes.
just not just being out of that, like
Right.
definitely I don't know, like
I think for on my end, it's more of, I think you said you found yourself. I think more of, I had a lot of insecurities that I thought I didn't have. So I was kind
okay.
of like, oh, I'm so set with myself. I know myself, blah 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 blah. I'm like I'm like the shit, like whatever. I had that, which I'm not really proud of. And whoever met me at that time of my life, I apologize. If you're listening to this, I apologize. And
I think we
for
both went
how
through
I
that
was.
phase. But again,
But
because
yeah,
of the
I
circles we were in. So
right.
that's the
So I didn't. I thought I was confident with myself, but I realized it stemmed from a lot of insecurities.
mm,
And I think moving here made me realize that those insecurities were valid, but it wasn't. It didn't give me the right to talk or treat people a certain way. I'm not saying I was. I'm not saying I was
interesting.
nasty to people, but I'm just
Yeah,
saying,
yeah,
like,
yeah. I would
because of the
never have considered
insecurities.
you, yeah, like a
Yeah, no.
biatch or like yeah.
But like, I think because of the insecurities, I I was too critical on myself and I was too critical on everybody else, which wasn't
Okay.
right
All right.
because I would. Who am I? If there's anything I learned really from there to here, nobody is that important. Nobody. Don't ever think that you're above anybody else because you're not. Everybody has a version of their success. Everybody has a version
Oh
of what
yeah.
they think, what makes them happy. Okay, maybe, I don't know, maybe having a regular phone is makes one person happy and the other one needs the most updated phone. That's just a shallow example, but I'm saying like before in the Philippines, I think, and this is kind of like confession 101, but I thought I was the shit. I was like, oh, I'm so cool. I have these friends. I hang out in these places. Da 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 da. But honestly, I realized nobody's that important. Honestly, not even billionaires. Sure, they have the status. Sure, they have the money. But in reality, nobody really
At the end of the
cares about you.
day, we're just all.
Yeah.
No, but you saying that though, now it's like, okay, I'm like, stuff are firing in my brain where I'm like, oh yeah, now I know. Like, my
Yeah.
answer to your question, which is like, again, because of the circles we were in, there was this, like, this, I don't know, definition of success, which was a bit
Right.
more,
Right.
I would say, no, mainstream's not the right term, but a bit more not materialistic either, but you know what I mean? It's just the standard definition of success. Whereas ever since I was younger, that is not the lifestyle I wanted for myself. I went through a phase
Right.
where I was like, oh, I thought I wanted to be like this boss alpha bitch, blah, blah, blah. That was like maybe
Yeah.
between 19 to 23, 24 years old. But,
Yeah.
or no, 20 to 24 years old, something around that age. But again, that was sort of like because of exposure to a certain kind of environment, but it didn't
Yeah.
feel genuine to myself. So when I physically got myself out of these environments, and it even started in Bali, like I became more comfortable. Okay, number one, I lost FOMO, that feeling of
Yes.
which
Oh
which
my
actually started
goodness.
during the pandemic. I used
Yes.
to have major ass
Yes.
FOMO, but then
Yeah.
yeah, that sort of, I was able to outgrow that, I would say. And also, again, became more secure in myself in the sense of like, even if what I've accomplished in life doesn't look like your typical, criteria of success, I no longer felt as like my value was lower because of that. Whereas when I
Yeah.
was younger, I used to feel that way. I was like, shit, I need to prove myself in XYZ way. Versus now it's like, people just have different values, different lifestyle preferences, so on and
Right.
so forth. And now I'm very like, I'm 100% at home in that feeling, like with myself.
I have a
So
question.
yeah.
And this goes both ways for when you were back home and to now. Did you back home, did you always feel like you were just trying to fit in? And when you moved, did you still feel the same?
Back home, yes, I did feel like I had to fit in somehow. And that's
Yeah.
why a lot of it felt very disingenuous. Is that even a word? Am I making up shit
I
right
don't know.
now? But anyway, yeah, not
Probably.
authentic.
It's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay. Like we'll make our own words. This podcast will
Mm-hmm.
have a dictionary of its own.
Disingenuous. Inauthentic.
Yeah.
Something. And then when I moved, there was still a sense of course, you carry some of that with you. But at the same time, there's this feeling of no one here knows me. I
Yeah,
can
right?
be who I can just be myself. I don't have to prove myself to
Yeah.
anyone. Yeah.
I think that's what is also amazing with like the East Coast, like New York and stuff, because it's everybody is their own person and everybody's accepted for who they are.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah. Yeah.
feels so for me it was the same. Okay, let's be real. When I was in Manila, I always felt like I needed to fit in. I'm sure nobody really cared about me, but
But
I
that
just
was
felt
like
like
ever since
I
we were in
needed to fit
school though,
in.
because that's just
Yeah,
how the
like
culture was.
that's how just the culture is. And I was such a people pleaser. I didn't want to hurt anybody. I wanted to
Me
make sure everybody
too.
was my best friend. I used to call myself in high school, I think, like everybody's best friend. Like I was
Really?
I was always everybody's best friend, but nobody's like actual friend. Like that's kind of how it felt. I mean, except for us. That's
Okay.
different because we're like a core. But like in general, when I meet people, it was kind of like that. And but when I moved here, it was, I don't know. It felt I didn't need to try. I kind of just felt like I I fit in because everybody fits in. You know what I mean? Like, no, nobody.
Yes,
And
yes.
people here are so like straightforward, and they could tell if you're not authentic. If they could tell if you're fake, and they're gonna call you out, especially in New York. They're
I
gonna
love
call
that.
you out, and they're gonna say like, come on, they know who's fake and who's not, and
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's what I love about it. And even if they don't agree with you, but as long as you're being your true self, they'll accept you for who you are.
Yep, yep, yep.
And I think that's what's amazing. And I don't know, I always felt, I think back home, I just never fully fit in. And I think like,
That's how I felt since I was a kid, man. Yep.
like, and I think that's why we're friends, because we know we're also different, because like we're the same in a lot of things, but we're also
We're
different in a lot of
very
things.
different in a yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Super different like
Like
when it
I'm
comes to a
sure
lot
they
of
could
things.
tell, like in terms of energy, like in terms of like you're more of the, like if you want to talk to somebody with sense and calm and all that, you talk to Babs.
What's
And
that?
if you want to talk to somebody who's like, hello world, like
Your
it's kind
hype
of like
girl,
me.
your hype girl would be Anna. Yep, for sure.
Yeah. But like it's like but it's always, I always felt like I had to fit in. And it's funny because I remember back in our school days, like there would be people and they'd be in groups, and it would be like
Mm.
it, and honestly they're still friends till now. I think these some people, like
Mm-hmm.
they're all like still in one group, and it's awesome to see that. And I mean, we are still friends, like our core is still our core, but it's just that I never really felt like I fit in, or I was always trying too hard to fit in
We were kind of
with other
floaters in high
people.
school though. Like obviously again,
Kind
like we
of.
had our core group, but then
Yeah.
especially me like oh my God. Because I was hanging out with all these different groups.
Different
Again,
groups.
because my
Yeah.
personality is
Yeah.
just I have so many like interests and stuff, but
Yeah.
it wasn't we weren't part of like one particular is it clique? Clique?
Click. Like a
Click?
click.
I'm thinking
Yeah, a
cliche
click.
and click at the same time. Clique. Yeah, click, or however you pronounce that.
Yeah.
So it was kind of
Yeah.
like when we'd float around between these different groups, whether it was like the party people, the athletes, wait, I mean, you were a cheerleader. I don't know,
Oh yeah.
skater people, just
Oh
random
yeah.
ass groups. I know. It was
Imagine
like,
that. Like
but anyway,
this is
yeah.
this is what I always say. It's weird for me because I for once in my life I actually felt like myself, and that I'm just me and I actually fit in, and it feels great.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I felt when I moved to the US. Canada
Mm-hmm.
was a little weird because it was, again, it
It
was
was
a
a bit of a bubble
pandemic, and
as
I was
well.
there for
Yeah,
such,
yeah.
yeah, I was there for such
Mm-hmm.
a short time. I don't, I did learn a lot of things, and I met a lot of people there as well, but really the move to the US to me was really what was the biggest change. And
Oh yeah.
from
Mm-hmm.
trying to fit in, it's actually nice to just be myself, and it's okay to be me, and nobody's gonna judge me. I
Yeah.
just felt like back home, and I guess it's the culture. Uh, they always you always had to be a certain way, you know,
Mm-hmm. It's just the culture.
and
Yep.
you know what? That's what our culture knows. There's nothing
Mm-hmm.
wrong with that, you know.
Mm-hmm. It's just
But
different.
it
Yeah.
always felt like I was running after something, and here
Mm.
I just I'm just myself, and it's okay. Even when I have a
Yeah.
bad day, I'm not really the happiest person. It's okay. Everybody that's the mindset here. It's okay. Everybody has a bad day. It's okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just talk it
Yeah.
out.
It's not
It's
like
fine.
you have to keep up appearances even if you're feeling a
Yeah.
particular way.
And
That
because if there's something I realized back home, it was more of like, oh, you kind of have to follow what we say, or
yeah.
what the society says. But here it's like, you don't want to do it, it's okay. You don't want to
Mm-hmm.
do this, it's all right. There is
Mm-hmm.
some sense of freedom. There is some
Oh
sense
yeah.
of freedom
That's
in that
super important to
sense.
me. Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
in that, I think is very, very important for the both of us. And
Yeah.
when you were how long were you in Bali?
Roughly 2 years that it was like our
Okay.
home base. We still
But you were
traveled a
going back
lot.
and forth to Manila, right? Back when you were doing that.
Manila, we were traveling like every 2 months, whether that was around Asia or like we visited Europe at some point, so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
But I considered Bali the home base because that's where we had like long-term rental, all our stuff were there, and
All the
it
stuff
we
were
had a
there.
space that felt like home. Which again, like,
Yeah.
okay, going back to that, I mean, you've been there like 6 years
Years.
ish
Six
now,
years.
right? That's
Almost six
crazy.
years, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, to you, would you consider where you are now like home? This is
That is
the new
such a
home?
that's such a bittersweet question for me
Mm.
because
Mm-hmm.
uh short answer is yes. Yes, this
Okay.
is now home for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you'll never really take Manila away from my heart or the Philippines. And I
Mm-hmm.
know there's a lot of things that people don't like about our country, or even our own
No place is
fellow
perfect though.
countrymen don't
Yeah.
like it, and they're like, it's terrible. That, but the Philippines
For
is
you,
beautiful.
it's
The
mm-hmm.
Philippines is beautiful, and I think the fact that I still have family there will
Mm-hmm.
always make it feel like home. And I say this all the time when I go visit the Philippines and I have to come back here, it feels like I'm going through a breakup all the time. I'm like
Oh,
sobbing at
okay.
the airport and the plane all the time just
But is it
because
because of the people?
it's the people. And no, and how beautiful it really is. Like, you guys don't understand that here on the East Coast, like, the water is cold. You can't really just jump on the sea when you want, Like, it's it's the beach is a little far from everybody, unless obviously you live by the shore, or by whatever, by the Hamptons or whatever. But other than that, everything's just, the lifestyle is just so different.
Mm.
And that question is always a little bittersweet for me because I don't know, I guess you could have two homes. I think
Oh
my
yeah.
heart my heart will always have the Philippines as home, but
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
life now, circumstances now make this, like, where I am, my home. Like, the US now is my
Especially that
home.
you now have your own little family there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Mm-hmm.
it just shifts like that, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely I would say it's definitely a home away from home. I didn't realize, so I was itching so much to leave back then, and then when I actually submerged myself in another culture, I
Yeah.
really miss our culture because it's so different.
Mm-hmm.
I and I'm very thankful for the basic what do you call this, the basic ways of how we were brought up, because
Mm-hmm.
what is that, values, the values of how were brought up, because American values are also different, and
Yeah.
I don't agree with everything, but because, like, there's some, I guess, in a sense, like, conservative side to the Philippines that I like.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Here it's very liberated, and it's great. That's also great because everybody can speak their mind and all that. Yeah,
Just a different culture.
but
Mm-hmm.
it's different. So it's perfect, actually, because that's what we were talking about. It is like a new home away from home. But
Mm-hmm.
I think my heart is always going to be split with, because, to be fair, like, even my husband loves the Philippines, and we love going back and forth. So we both, I think of it as home still. So
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
how to say it. Like, they're both home to me, but I don't know the term. They're both home, but I guess the Philippines is
Of
more, is
course, yeah, because your
heart,
roots are
what more in
there.
my heart. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So, but yeah, like I don't think people should, only feel like one place is home. That's why
Yeah,
for me,
I
like
think,
what you're
yeah.
saying completely makes sense. Because for me, it's completely different because I don't see any physical place or land as home. So even in the
Right.
Philippines, like
It's
since I was a
with,
kid,
yeah.
I never fully felt like, not just in school, but like with the culture, for some reason, I don't know what it was, but I never fully felt like I could relate. No, I never felt like I could fully relate to the
Yeah.
culture. So I
Right.
don't know what it was about my upbringing, but like, so for me now, home is more of a feeling.
Hmm.
So, ooh, you might be able to hear sirens, but so it's like it's with people, with certain people. So that's why I completely get what you're saying about family. Like when I go
Right.
back to Manila, still being able to see family is like, oh my gosh,
It's
this I
awesome.
feel like I can breathe because it's with
Yeah.
people who I'm comfortable with, I can be myself with, who've known me since, well, since I was a baby, but also, yeah, being outside of the Philippines, when I meet people who I would consider to be like soul family, kindred spirits, and stuff like that, that to me feels like home still. Whenever I'm in, oh my God, this sounds so cheesy and cliche, but like when I'm out in nature or just, I don't know, then that feels like home, which is another reason why I wanted to move to a country with four seasons. Because I just feel like this is something like so esoteric and spiritual or whatever, but like when um, the change in seasons helps me feel more connected to the land, and that makes me
Gotcha.
feel like
Yeah.
I'm at
Makes
home,
sense.
or
Yep.
yeah, somehow.
Makes sense.
So
Makes
it's
sense.
like, oh, and because of my, I guess, still semi-nomadic lifestyle, for me, and again, this sounds so esoteric, but for me, home, like, I feel it in my body
Mm-hmm.
because it's like I have to physically pack up so often and
Yeah.
move around, moves my daughter
But
and
you
I
like that.
around.
That's your happiness though. Even your
Yeah,
daughter loves
yeah.
doing that. She loves jumping
Mm-hmm.
around. And she got that
Mm-hmm.
from you for sure.
Yeah, I she tolerates my stuff, but yeah, I'm really grateful that she's been super patient with me so far. But yeah, that's I think that's also why like I really make an effort to take care of my physical health because this
Right.
is my home for now. It's what carries like
Right.
everything. Because my daughter and I like we have so many interests. We like our arts and crafts and blah blah blah, our books and everything. So I always have to lug around so many things. So for me, it's my body that's able to, you know,
That's
currently
home for you.
carry around, yeah, the
Yeah.
things that I consider to be home. So mine's like such an esoteric answer, but
So your home basically is your body. Like your soul. That's
it's
home.
in,
Where you are, the doesn't matter whether you're in Iceland or you're in
yeah.
Ecuador. It your home is you. Like you and your daughter, that's home for you.
um, my daughter, yes. Me, I wouldn't necessarily say so. It's just that my body has an aspect of what carries what I consider home, a lot of what I consider to be home-ish with me right
Yeah.
now, but more so it's the feeling of certain places, certain people. And so I find pockets of it like in the different places that we go to, which is
Yeah.
why
I like that.
another episode for another time, but it's like I don't really get homesick. I miss the people. But when I get to talk to them, or at least like there's a bit of that interaction still, then a bit of that homesickness gets filled.
Yeah.
It's weird. Mine is just so
I think
esoteric,
it's
but yeah.
different for me
Mm-hmm.
because I think just the fact that I have family back home. So
Yeah.
I still get homesick. It's really them
The
more
people
than
though make a big
anything.
difference. Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
and I think if my family here, if they didn't like coming home, then I think my answer would be very different. But they love it there
Oh,
too.
okay. Yeah,
They
yeah.
love the Philippines too. It's just so happened that, obviously opportunities and life situations, we have to deal with it here. But when we do get to go home and see the Philippines, they also love
Mm-hmm.
it. They also don't want to leave. So I think that makes it harder for me to get over, you know, like letting go what home. But I think, you could have two
Because you know the
homes.
people
That's the
you
thing.
love also l-
Love what you love,
yeah, it's
basically.
like yeah, yeah, yeah. So it
That's what
sort
it
of
is.
validates that
Yeah,
is home. I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to
it does.
articulate, but I get what you mean though. Mm-hmm.
It does. It does. It does validate it. And I don't know. I always say this, but yeah, it is definitely home away from home, but it's a different kind of home. You know how people have houses upstate or houses at the beach?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They have a house in the city, but they have a house in the beach. That's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah.
Like it's both home and it's both great places to grow up in, but it's
Mm-hmm.
just different. So that's kind
Yeah.
of where I am with in terms of um feeling if this is I can't even. I have to figure that out. I don't know what the right term is. I guess they're both home, but it's
That's
just
it, I think.
I
Yeah. And you
still
kind
do
of have the
miss
best of both
home.
worlds.
And I'm sure people who are in other countries too, not just, the UK or the US, but I'm sure people who are in other countries feel the same way. Like I'm sure they've built a life where they
Hmm.
are,
Oh, yeah.
and but they do still miss, coming home and having Filipino food and stuff like that. So
Actually,
I
this
do.
circles back to what, oh, sorry to cut you off, but this
No, no,
circles
no, go
back to
ahead.
what you were saying at the start of this episode, where you were saying, like, um, moving forward, not moving on, sort of thing.
Yeah,
So
there
it's
you
not
go.
like
Yeah.
you haven't forgotten the Philippines, it's still home.
No,
But part of moving forward is also building a home in wherever you are now. That sort of
I
that sort of thing.
again, everybody is different, and I don't mean to shit on anybody or whatever, but I just also I take pride on my roots and where
Mm-hmm.
I really grew up. Because a lot of people from our country come to wherever they are, whether it's the US, the UK,
Mm-hmm.
and they
Another
turn
topic
into
that could be a
this.
whole
I know
episode
it's
in
a whole
itself.
episode, but they consider this their home. With There's nothing wrong with that, absolutely, especially if they don't have anybody to go back to in the Philippines. I totally get
It's
it.
like a complete
But
erasure of roots, where they came
yeah,
from,
complete.
sort of
Like
thing.
I just had a
Yeah,
conversation
yeah.
with some people recently, and it was like they're like, "Oh, I don't resonate with the Philippines anymore," and I'm like, "How do you not?"
Mm,
But
mhm.
again, everybody's different.
Yep.
Everybody has their own
Hmm.
definition.
Just not necessarily something we relate to, but yeah, yeah. Hmm.
It's like it's not really where you are. It's I think who you're with. I think home is who you're with, and
Oh, for me. Mhm.
if the people you're with loves to be in the Philippines and here, you could consider them both your home,
Yeah.
which I think is great. And not everybody, and I do acknowledge that. I do acknowledge that we do have the privilege of being home in two places. Not everybody has that
Hmm.
opportunity or the chance to do it. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that would want to be in our situation, have that choice, right? Like
Hmm.
just to be able to
Just that
provide for their
option of,
family. And
yeah.
yeah, so I am not taking this for granted. There are a lot of struggles to it though, and people are not wrong when they say that, oh, you have a better life. That I don't necessarily say a better life, just a different life.
Pros and cons, I would say, because
Pros and
there's so
cons.
many things, especially in the Philippines, that, oh my gosh, in terms of resources for, anyway, the lifestyle is easier there.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah,
Lifestyle is
the
so
lifestyle
much
is so
easier
much
there.
easier. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot to unpack. This is just our first episode, and this is really just to get to know us and to get to know how life is and what's happened to us. I think in the
Hmm.
next few episodes, we're really gonna go in depth in how we deal with day to day, more like
Hmm.
how we
Hmm.
deal with the culture day to day. It is different. This the
Oh
British
yeah.
culture and the Philippine culture are different. US culture also depends on where you are. I'm in the East Coast, is so
Hmm.
like the personality here is so different compared to the West Coast and obviously the Philippines. Like it's just
Yep. Yep.
so 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 different. But I don't know. I think this is a good way for us to just unpack things
Yeah. Mhm. And I
and
mean,
share it to the people.
yeah, so much more things that we could talk about. Like, as you guys probably would have seen, there were so many side tangents and things like this. So, yeah, there's a lot to get into. Even like, I don't know, funny stories of, I don't know, things getting lost in translation and
Oh,
I
there's
don't just
so
everything.
much. I think the next episode is going to be so funny because we're actually going to go into detail of how how it's so different.
Yeah, it's
Like
not just
even
like, oh, get to know us. It's yeah,
no, yeah,
actual.
and I'm pretty sure people will be able to relate to it because especially the ones
Mm-hmm.
that have moved because I'm sure they have their own funny stories and all that stuff.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
again, I will always say this, whoever's listening, if anybody is listening, if you want to share your story, we would love to, if you allow us, we would love to say it on air and just, you
Mm-hmm.
know, tell you our side of the story too, of if we can relate and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
that'd be fun.
Let's link.
In a few days, they'll probably see another episode, so that's gonna be
Yeah,
cool.
for sure.
So
Alrighty.
thanks for listening, guys. We'll try to be a little more concise next time, I guess.
Or not. Maybe this, I
Or
don't know,
not.
like, yeah, just going
There's
off on
more. There's a
tangents
lot
and
more to
stuff.
come. I mean, I do want to say this just so everybody kind of knows what to look forward to. But we're bringing in some guests that will join us that has the same experience as us, that moved to another country, not necessarily country, honestly, even if they just move to another
Or just
city and
like,
it's a whole
yeah,
different,
yeah.
yeah, we're not limiting to jumping countries, because it is a little extreme,
Mm-hmm.
packing your life up and just jumping elsewhere. But like simple things, like not moving to wherever, as long as it's like a life change, I guess.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
we're gonna
true.
be talking
Yeah,
to a
that
lot of,
liminal space of transition or whatever. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
we're gonna guest a lot of people, so tune in, and hopefully you guys find this fun and relatable.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it, really. We'll see you in the next one.
Exactly. Thanks for listening to our rambles. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for
Hope to see you
listening.
in the next episode, I guess.
Yes.
And yeah,
We'll
we'll
see you
catch you then.
soon.